Meeting of the Gastonia City Council. I don't know if dark clouds has anything to do with coming over on April the 15th, but we'll hook that together. But we're glad you're here. We're glad that the folks that are watching on TV have tuned in to our meeting. I would at this time like to ask Councilman Walter Kimball to lead us in prayer, after which, if we would all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Kimball.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dear Lord, we ask your blessing on this meeting. We ask your blessing on all those that have chose to attend this evening. We ask your wisdom and your guidance to all those that serve on this body. We also ask your blessing on those that are shooting victims and their families from Overland Park, Kansas, from those that are victims from Franklin High School and the slashing incident in Murraysville, Pennsylvania. And we also, Lord, reflect back on a 2-year anniversary of the terrible events of the Boston Marathon bombing. And we ask your blessing and your strength on those that are still healing and those that are still bereaved at the losses therein. In the Lord's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Pretty artwork in the front there. Okay. I'd like to have item C, the adoption of the agenda. If there's a motion, please.
Motion here, sir.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Raise your hand, please. Thank you. Okay, item D. Looks like four, at least Mr. Kimball, Awards, Ceremonies, and Promotions Committee. Number one's a proclamation of Child Abuse Prevention Month, April, this month, and for us it's on D1. Mr. Kimball.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have a proclamation this evening. I believe Ms. Dottie Shearer, the Executive Director of Prevent Child Abuse Gaston. Ma'am? And who do you have with you this evening?
Celeste Quinn. She's my board chair.
Thank you for coming, ladies. What I'd like to do is read your proclamation, and then please, if you have some remarks that you'd like to share with the audience and our audience here. Whereas children are vital to our city's future success, prosperity, and quality of life, as well as being one of our most valuable citizens. And whereas all children deserve to have a safe, stable, nurturing, and healthy homes and communities that foster their well-being. And whereas all across the United States, teams of professionals meet regularly to try to identify all the risk factors causing child deaths so that we can work together to keep other children healthy, safe, and alive. Effective teams work with various governmental agencies, police departments, schools, mental health agencies, hospitals, pediatrician offices, and other organizations to share findings, recommend solutions, and use their leadership to make sure solutions are implemented. And whereas effective child abuse prevention strategies succeed because of partnerships created among citizens, human service agencies, schools, faith communities, healthcare providers, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. And whereas the City of Gastonia, North Carolina is committed to preventing child abuse and recognizes that child abuse prevention is an ongoing 24-hour-a-day community effort. We call upon every citizen from all walks of life to increase their participation in efforts to support families and thereby prevent child abuse and strengthen communities. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Gastonia proclaim April 2014 as Child Abuse Prevention Month and urges its citizens to join together in reaching out to all in an effort to prevent the senseless abuse and neglect of children, and to celebrate bright futures for all children. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Gastonia to be affixed this 15th day of April, 2014, by the Honorable Mayor John D. Bridgman. Ma'am? Thank you. Please.
Thank you so much for this proclamation and for the support of the City Council and the Mayor. On my way in here just a few minutes ago, I ran into a supervisor from Child Protective Services across the street. She's the night duty supervisor on call tonight, and she was coming across the street to go over to the magistrate's office to get a non-secure petition signed. I ask that all of you keep all of our Child Protective Services workers and our foster care workers in your thoughts and prayers as they go about their business. We work on the child abuse prevention issues for all child-serving agencies across Gaston County. We are funded by the Glenn Foundation, the Gaston Community Collaborative, Commission on the Family, Voices for Children, Guardians for Children, and individual donations. We are partnered this year with Eastridge Mall and Wings for Chloe to bring our annual chair display to Eastridge Mall and invite everyone to come and see it later this week. Our local child fatality team has identified rollover deaths as the most prevalent cause of child fatality in Gaston County. That is when an infant has been placed in an adult-sized bed with an adult and the child is suffocated due to the adult rolling over on top of the child or the child getting tangled in the bed covers or other items in the bed. This chair display will help bring awareness to that issue. Another highly prevalent issue is child sexual abuse. Prevent Child Abuse Gaston currently is presenting the Darkness to Light Stewards of Children child sexual abuse awareness trainings at various locations and times throughout the county. Gaston County spends in excess of $18 million a year due to this insidious type of abuse. We invite each of you to go to our website at preventchildabusegaston.org and register for one of those trainings. This information is critical to understand how debilitating this crime really is and to learn what to do about it. We thank the City Council for supporting our efforts to prevent future incidents of these issues. Everyone here, the City Council, and out there in the TV audience, is invited to our third annual Child Abuse Prevention Candlelight Vigil on Friday, April 25th, 2014 at 7:45 p.m. It will be held behind the YMCA Central, where all the pinwheels are right now. Also, I want to give each one of you a small pinwheel sticker, which I've handed to Virginia, and an invitation. Fantastic. They really stick, so be careful what you put them on. I've had one on my daytimer now for 3 years, and it's not coming off. But I wanted to make sure that each one of y'all got that. That is to celebrate the happy childhood, the healthy childhood that we wish for every child. I want to thank you again for all of your efforts as we all work towards the same purpose, and that is to make the city of Gastonia a better place to live. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely.
Okay.
Please go up and-
Dottie, once again, thank you, thank your group, and we couldn't do without you. Yes.
Let me tell you,
Group.
she answers the phone.
Okay, come around and shake. And there's a motion for adoption of the
Second.
proclamation. Second, all in favor, just say aye.
Aye.
I even remember that.
Thank you, Dottie. Nice to meet you.
Me too. Okay. Okay, the next one, thank you both, ladies. The next proclamation, Mr. Kimball, is Fair Housing Month, April also. It's D2 in our,
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Myra Nichols, the Housing and Neighborhoods Administrator of the City of Gastonia, to come forth.
She is.
Here we go. And who do we have with us tonight?
Danette Dye, she is our HUD compliance officer, also the fair housing officer for us.
Fantastic. We have a proclamation this evening, actually honoring Fair Housing Month, which is also April 2014. So I'll go ahead and read the proclamation, and then Myra, I have some different comments that you'd like to share. Thank you. Whereas equal housing opportunity is a right guaranteed to all Americans under Title VIII of the 1968 Civil Rights Law, and whereas each year since the enactment of the National Fair Housing Law, the federal government has designated April as Fair Housing Month. And whereas the citizens of Gastonia and Gaston County are encouraged to share in the effort to ensure that fair housing opportunity is a reality for all. And whereas the enactment of the Fair Housing Law provides an opportunity for all citizens of Gastonia and Gaston County to rededicate themselves to the principles of free choice and to reacquaint themselves with the rights and responsibilities that are theirs under the law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Gastonia hereby proclaim the month of April 2014 as Fair Housing Month in Gastonia, and encourage the people of Gastonia to join in reaffirming the obligation of commitment of fair housing opportunities for all. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the corporate seal of the City of Gastonia, North Carolina, to be affixed this 15th day of April 2014. The Honorable Mayor John D. Bridgman. Please.
Thank you for your support of the fair housing. Currently, the city offers a fair housing hotline. We answer questions, we handle complaints, and see if we need to further them to the state. We also provide fair housing information to housing providers, whether it's mortgage lenders or nonprofit or rental housing, and also apartment complexes with posters and pamphlets. This is the 46th anniversary of the Fair Housing Act. So, thank you for your continued support.
Thank you, Myra.
Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you.
Let me make one comment,
Sure.
Myra, if I may, about you answer complaints. If you get bogged down, just have them to call the president of the Gaston Association of Realtors. He'll
Yes,
take
sir.
care of it, right?
I sure will.
How about a motion for it? Is there a
Motion
second?
to approve.
Okay. All in favor? Thank you, it's unanimous. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, ladies.
The next one is proclamation number, you want to come around, you're certainly welcome to.
We'll wait till the second one.
Oh, okay. The Proclamation Community Development Week, April 21st through the 26th. Mr. Kimball, that's also D3 on it.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe, again, we're going to be graced with Ms. Nichols' presence for this one as well. Thank you. I'd like to go ahead and read our proclamation. Whereas the week of April 21 to 26, 2014, has been designated as National Community Development Week, CD Week, the City of Gastonia is a participant in Community Development Block Grant programs, which funds a myriad of social service, economic development, and housing programs in this community. And whereas April 21 to 26, the year 2014, marks the 40th anniversary of the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG program, and the 28th anniversary of the National Community Development Week. Whereas the Community Development Block Grant program has operated since 1975 to provide local governments with the resources required to meet the needs of persons of low and moderate income, and CDBG funds are used by neighborhood-based nonprofit organizations to address pressing neighborhood and human service needs. And whereas CDBG program funding has developed a strong network of relationships between this local government, residents, and the many nonprofit agencies that provide services and help make possible our commitment to those neighborhoods. And whereas this community recognizes that the CDBG program is a partnership of federal, state, and local government, business, nonprofit, and community efforts, and relies heavily on the dedication of and goodwill of our combined efforts. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and the city council of the city of Gastonia hereby proclaims the week of April 21 to 26 in the year 2014 as Community Development Week in Gastonia, and encourages the citizens of Gastonia to join in recognizing the Community Development Block Grant Program and the important role it plays in our community. In witness whereof, I hereunto have set my hand and caused the corporate seal of the city of Gastonia, North Carolina, to be affixed this 15th day of April, 2014. Mayor John D. Bridgman. Thank you. Myra, ladies, please.
Again, we'd like to thank the council for the support of the Housing Neighborhoods Division as we use the CDBG funds. Currently, these funds are used inside the city limits. We use them for our homeless programs, which our continuing care program, which we work with 3 counties. We also use these funds for helping repair low to moderate income families. And without that, they might not be able to repair those homes. But all these funds do stay inside the city. And I failed to mention, this Thursday at 9 o'clock in the City Council chambers in City Hall, we'll be having a fair housing analysis program provided by the Central Carolina Council of Governments. We're been in the process for the last 6 months looking at the impediments to fair housing. So we invite each of you to come.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all your hard work, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve this proclamation.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, discussion. All in favor? Thank you. Okay.
Your Honor, before we move to item number 4, I have a brief presentation for you that I hope that you'll enjoy. I was recently very fortunate to attend the auto fair at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And as many folks know, it's an automotive event, but many of the folks sell different parts and accessories and things that are in their garages. And I was walking through one of the aisles, and a fella had a bunch of different license plates. And lo and behold, there was a Gastonia license plate that this year is 40 years old. And I don't know, my understanding is this had to do with paying some type of road tax at a certain point. But in any event, I was able to restore this a little bit before the meeting. And I'd like to present this with you tonight, and maybe we could hang this somewhere in City Hall. This license plate is dated 1974, so this is the 40th anniversary of this being issued. So I'd like to come forward and give you this, sir.
Please, sir. Thank you. 1974. Think on that a little bit. Thank you, sir. You did fix it up. Thank you. I'll do something. Take it home. We did. You're right. A couple of us remember that. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome, Your Honor. Now I'd like to go to an event which touched our whole Gastonia community and certainly all of the police officers and emergency service workers. And myself, Mayor Pro Tem Craig, and Councilman Pearsall were actually in a meeting at the Garland Building when these tragic events began to unfold. And let me just say that many times our police officers need to act swiftly and decisively to save a human life. And they do so without regard for their personal safety. And they fall many times back on the training that they're fortunate to get. And in this particular incident, they actually had to use all of their training for quite a length of time to actually save one of their own who was stricken right in the parking lot of police headquarters. And what I'd like to do at this point is to call up Chief Stacy Conley and Assistant Chief Rob Helton to give the details on this fateful day, and to also recognize the officers that performed so selflessly that day, and also the officer I believe is here and is a testament that he is here at all to the professionalism of this agency and what they were able to do to save one of their own. Gentlemen.
Lady.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Robert Helton, and I currently serve as your Assistant Chief of Police. And it's my honor and my privilege tonight to be here to recognize officers whose actions on this particular evening not only saved someone, but saved one of our very own, Officer Bill Griffin. As was just stated, I was actually in a meeting that afternoon at the Garland Center with some of those who are seated here tonight when I received a call that one of our officers had had a massive heart attack or a heart attack and was unresponsive. I immediately thought the worst, but prayed for the best. Back in 2001, I lost an officer to a heart attack, and I still remember him today, so these thoughts were going through my mind. As I started for the hospital, what I didn't know was that this officer was surrounded at that time by officers who were going to do anything within their power to make sure that he was here with us tonight. Officer Griffin had walked out of the police department, had walked out to his truck on this particular day on February 20th around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. As he got out to his truck and started to get into the truck, he began to feel lightheaded and dizzy and sat down, and that's the last thing he remembered. Sergeant Dean Connor was pulling into the parking lot and saw his truck in the parking lot with the door open and thought that was strange. He then recognized that it was Bill's truck and knew he had had some prior health issues, and walked over and found Bill there, slumped over, not breathing. He immediately got on the radio and called for assistance. When this radio call went out and was dispatched, Officer Ben Reese, who was in the police department, ran out to help. Sergeant Dean Connor and Officer Reese were able to get Bill out of the truck and get him down on the ground and begin to assess what was happening. Sergeant Brian Atkins also heard the call and came running out of the police department and came over, and when he realized he wasn't breathing and realized he had no pulse, began doing chest compressions. Sergeant Brian Atkins that particular evening did approximately 200 chest compressions during this time. While he was doing compressions, Officer Ben Reese began to breathe for Bill Griffin. Officer Michelle Meadows also heard the call, ran through the weight room, and as she was running through the weight room, had the forethought to grab AED and bring the defibrillator out to the parking lot. Sergeant Jimmy Arndt was down beside Bill when this was happening, took the AED from her, opened up the pads, put them on his chest, and let it begin to analyze his health condition. The AED recommended a shock be given. Sergeant Arndt cleared everybody back, and a shock was given to Bill's heart. It recommended that compressions continue to be given. Sergeant Atkins continued to give compressions. A few moments later, they began to see Bill breathe and begin to move. They stopped what they were doing at that time and found a pulse. It was around this time that the ambulance was arriving. Now, as all of you know, those crucial moments there in the very beginning are so important. And had they not been there, we may not have had the result that we have tonight. Some other things that were going on this particular evening. The fire department was monitoring calls and looking at their monitor and saw this call come in. And one of the captains from Fire Station 1 called Fire Station 6 and said, "Hey, you need to get over to the police department." And they started on their way. This was before they were even dispatched. The sheriff's office monitors our radio traffic. They heard the call being given out. Tony Watkins from the sheriff's office had an AED in his trunk and an ambu bag. He immediately responded before he was dispatched to the scene and brought the ambu bag, and that was used as well to help with the breathing. Many others were involved on this particular day that didn't actually have hands-on, that were helping coach, count the compressions, and cheering during this time saying, "Bill, don't give up." When I arrived at the hospital, I found, to my surprise, Bill conscious. And when I walked into his room, as a result of these officers' actions, Bill says, "Hey, Chief, how are you?" I'm so thankful for these officers' actions, and I'm so thankful that we have Bill with us tonight. Bill is married. His wife is Lori. He has twins, a boy and a girl, Ava and Austin, and they're actually in a school program tonight. And when he leaves here, he's going to be going to join them. And it's because of these officers' actions and their unselfish acts that he's able to do that. So I'd like to thank these officers. We're going to recognize them further at an award ceremony in May that we do at the police department, but I wanted to recognize them tonight publicly and to say thank you.
Sure.
Bill, could we introduce you? Bill Griffin.
Bring them around. Ask them stuff.
Sure.
Yeah,
Fellas,
please.
if ladies, if you could come around and greet the council. And we also have life-saving awards from the city of Gastonia. I'll just read them. It's for all the officers involved. The Life-Saving Award, in appreciation of uncommon actions and heroic efforts responding to a fellow police officer in need of medical attention. And that's been awarded to all the officers involved. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Okay. The item E is, that was a wonderful presentation, by the way. I'm still thinking about that. Item E is, number one is Ms. Marilyn Whitney, treasurer of the pet education team, reference a donation of 10 pet oxygen recovery mask kits to the city of Gastonia Fire Department. Ms. Whitney.
Good evening, Mayor,
Evening.
Councilman, and guests. My name is Marilyn Whitney, and I am here along with Annette, Lexi, and Eileen in behalf of the pet education team in Gaston County. For those of you who are not familiar with PET, we are a group of adult and youth volunteers. Our group's mission and vision are to assist in making spay neutering and for cats and dogs in the community affordable and convenient, to educate the public in the value of caring for our companion animals, including limiting their reproduction, to encourage and invite young people to learn and teach animal welfare practices, and to raise public awareness about practices in other communities that are eliminating the need to kill companion animals. Further, we believe that a community should have no more homeless companion animals than it can safely and comfortably shelter, habilitate, and find new homes for. PET has loosely existed for several years. However, in 2013, we decided to establish ourselves. So we got our EIN number, our North Carolina Articles of Incorporation, and in November of last year, we sent in our paperwork to become established as a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are still waiting to hear from the government on this. Our first year fundraiser, organized by Roxanne with pawbrokers.org, was a huge success. Paw Brokers work with other animal-focused groups to raise funds that enable those groups, like PET, to help animals in their community. As you know, nonprofits must return to their community good works annually. Roxanne with Paw Brokers enabled PET to do just that. Our group identified a need and talked to Chief Watts. We voted and purchased PET O2 mask kits, which will facilitate our firefighters in Gaston County in saving the lives of animals when they respond to fires. Each of these kits contain all the necessary tubing, masks, 3 different size masks for small, medium, and large dogs and cats. The small ones will even cover kittens and puppies. At this time, PET is pleased to present Chief Watts with 10 mask kits. Please accept them for our community.
Thank you very much, Ms. Whitley. Ms. Whitney, on behalf of the Gastonia Fire Department, I would like to thank you for these masks. You know, one of the most important things when we have a person that has suffered from smoke inhalation is to get them oxygen as quickly as we can. And that's certainly no different with pets. And this will allow us to quickly do this. Before we have, I've seen our people modify a human mask to go on the pets and stuff of that nature. One of these will go on all of our first out trucks tomorrow morning, and we will take care of this. So we certainly appreciate your donation. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thank you, Ms. Whitney. Thank you, and they appreciate it, and we appreciate it very much. Right, thank you. Trish, I'm not sure Winnie would stay in one of those very long. Okay. Next is Ms. Pat Johnson, Keep Gastonia Beautiful Administrator. Reference presentation of Tree City Award and Arbor Day poster contest winners.
That's right.
Pat?
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
And the lady behind you there, we know, speak to her too.
Miss Nan.
Yeah.
We're here tonight to share with you several positive accomplishments from Keep Gastonia Beautiful. But first, I'd like to introduce Miss Nan Curlin, who is our newly appointed chairperson, who I imagine you've seen around a little bit. So Nan has served as our vice chairman for a number of years. She's a true visionary, she's community-minded, and a true friend of Gastonia. So we're delighted that she'll be guiding our ship, and she's going to announce the presentations for our poster contest.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to step into some big shoes that were left by Mike, so I'm honored to take on this responsibility. We have several events and awards to celebrate and wanted to share them with you tonight. It was unfortunate that we were unable to have our popular Arbor Day event this year due to snow and sleet. However, we had a great art presentation for us, and some of our Arbor Day poster contest winners are here with us tonight. I would like to introduce to you the 2014 Arbor Day poster contest winners. From elementary school, the first place winner, and if I call your name, please come up to the front and stand up here, okay? First place winner, Jamie Danis from Gaston Day. And maybe if you would hold your applause, I can get through all of them and we'll be a little bit quicker. Second place, Kiera Moten from Piedmont Charter. Third place, Mia Siegel, Piedmont Charter. Cute. Middle school, first place, Jared Sturgis from Mount Holly Middle. Second place, Lily McGrath, Gaston Day. Third place, Haley Newman from Mount Holly Middle. Okay. High school, first place, Cody Sturgis, Stuart Kramer High School. Second place, Corey Swim, Webb Street. And third place, Malika Wilson, Gaston Day. Okay. Thank you all for participating, and thanks to your teachers who instruct and encourage you to keep up the good work. Thank you all. If you could turn around and show the
Yeah.
council their pictures.
Trying to see. Good work.
Very nice.
Great.
Thank you.
Great talent.
This is just the beginning.
Great.
Thank you.
If you would like to shake hands, that'd be really sweet. Let them touch an artist.
Let's start down there. Future. There was. Yeah. You know, yeah. Sure, so.
It's awesome. Awesome. Wonderful. Wonderful. Great job.
You
Keep
school,
doing it.
you
Keep
picture.
doing it. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Good
So,
job there.
congratulations. Nice work. Yeah. Good job. That's awesome. Good job. Great job. Uh-huh.
I like that tree in the, that tree's a real tree. Looks like-
Second, in keeping with the tree theme, I would like to introduce Ranger Henry Kunzig, our Gaston County Ranger, to make a presentation.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today to celebrate Arbor Day and to present the City of Gastonia with its 13th Tree City USA Award. Gastonia is one of 78 cities and towns in North Carolina and one of over 3,400 in the nation that received this recognition. Tree City USA began as a 1976 bicentennial project co-sponsored by the National Association of State Foresters and the USDA Forest Service. The National League of Cities and the U.S. Conference of Mayors are now co-sponsors as well. The Tree City USA program is a partnership between North Carolina Forest Service and the National Arbor Day Foundation. Awards are presented annually to cities and towns that demonstrate a commitment to making their communities more livable by planting and caring for trees. Gastonia has once again met the 4 criteria in this award. They have a public tree ordinance establishing policies for street and park trees, a tree board or a city department responsible for the care and management of the community's trees, a community forestry program with an annual expenditures of at least $2 per capita, and an annual Arbor Day observance and proclamation to celebrate trees and the many benefits they provide. Today's celebration meets this requirement for next year's award. For a community forestry program to be effective, it takes support and commitment from the entire community. In Gastonia, the community forest program thrives because of the combined dedication of tree board members, the city staff, elected officials, business community, homeowners, and all residents who take pride in improving the quality of life in Gastonia through environmental stewardship. On behalf of the National Arbor Day Foundation and the North Carolina Forest Service, I'm proud to present Gastonia with the 13th Tree City USA Award. The City of Gastonia has also been the recipient of a Tree City USA Growth Award. This award is provided to recognize environmental improvement and encourage high levels of tree care throughout America. This award is designed not only to recognize achievement, but also communicate new ideas and help the leaders of all Tree City USA communities plan for improving community tree care. This past year, Gastonia accomplished the following. They held an Arbor Day celebration involving area schools and planted 17 red maples, hosted an Arbor Day poster contest to education students about the importance of trees. The Keep Gastonia Beautiful partnered with the Alliance for Community Trees to initiate a neighborhood woods tree planting program, and the City of Gastonia Electric Department awarded Keep Gastonia Beautiful $25,000 to replace trees removed by the Electric Department. Congratulations on behalf of the National Arbor Day Foundation and the North Carolina Forest Service to Gastonia for the extra effort in caring for the urban forest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
And thank you on behalf of Keep Gastonia Beautiful, and certainly this Tree City Award helps bring attention to the many benefits that trees provide our community, as well as our commitment to urban forestry. A special thanks to the Electric Department for their monumental support and the Evergreen Tree Program. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Well, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of good effort with everyone working together. Thank you very much. All of you. Julianne, that's you back there. I was looking. Sister Cities Coordinator is next. A presentation of Sister Cities Young Artist winners.
All right, Mayor Bridgman, members of City Council, and the viewing audience, the Gastonia Sister Cities Organization would like to recognize our 2014 Young Artist Competition winners. Each year we participate in Sister Cities International Young Artist Competition. This year's theme was Think Globally, Thrive Locally. A tough subject. We only had 19 students participate from 4 different schools: Bessemer City High School, Forest View, Gaston Day, and Hunter Huss. And we're excited to introduce our winners to you this evening. So in third place, what I'll do is introduce them. They can tell a little bit about their artwork because they know much more about it than I do. And then we'll announce the winner as well. So in third place from Forest View High School is Vangelis Ibanez. He is son of Ruben Ibanez. His teacher is Elaine Patterson. Come on up here. Hold it up nice and tall.
Yeah.
This is my drawing. It represents different people from different places coming to one community, and they bring their religion and culture into the community and makes the community stronger and grow. And it ties all the cultures and stuff from their religion into one and brings them into the community.
Including the Gastonia logo in the middle of there.
I love it. Great. There.
Good, great, thank you.
Thank you.
And I also want to mention that his teacher, Elaine Patterson, she's been a great supporter of our program, and she's retiring this year, so we're hoping that we get a good replacement in her place and that they continue, and that all those young artists that were here earlier will someday, when they get into high school, also participate since they are amazing artists. In second place from Gaston Day is Kendall Carter. She's daughter of David and Shelley Carter, and her teacher is Holt Harris, who's unable to attend this evening. She teaches art classes on Tuesday evenings and said thank you all for supporting our program and continuing this competition. So come on up here, Kendall.
Hi.
Hello.
For the Sister Cities competition, I saw the prompt and immediately I thought of a clock. Don't ask me why. But I thought about how when you look at a clock, all of its inner cogs have to work together to be able to get the clock itself to function. Therefore, the larger cogs, symbolize larger communities or even other countries, and the smaller cogs represent very small communities like Gastonia. And all of the cogs have to work together for the clock itself to be able to function. So, thank you.
Very good.
Very deep artist, obviously. So, and in first place for the second year in a row, actually, from Hunter Huss High School, we have Yelisa Lavia, daughter of Clara and Rodolfo Lavia. Yelisa is not currently even enrolled in any art classes. She did this prompt on her own. She had no teacher instruction, did it on her own accord after school or whenever artists do these things. She is wonderful. She's highly talented, and we look forward to hearing good news from our international from her this year. So.
See you. I'm actually going to read the writing that I had to do with this painting, so here it goes. Once you step out of your small town and plummet into a giant, strange cloud of different people, your eyes suddenly open to what the world actually is. This is what it felt like when I stayed 3 weeks at Stanford for a summer program. When I entered Stanford's campus, the first thing I realized was how different the architecture was from North Carolina. You could tell that the structures were greatly influenced by the Spanish, which colonized California for 30 years. The exoticness is what made the university so memorizing and aesthetically pleasing to look at. However, it wasn't exactly the architecture and being in California for the first time that made the experience so captivating, but it was the people that were with me in the summer program. Many students came from various states in America, but several were actually from other countries: Korea, Hong Kong, France, Austria, Argentina, Philippines, Japan, and Pakistan. I began to grow friendships with many people in and out of the country, and those that were from out of the country, I tried to learn from their cultures as much as I could. Knowing an intermediate level of French, I tried to speak French with a girl named Eliza, where I improved my French speaking. I also learned some words from other languages too. Through dinners and lunches, the food would also be from different cultures, whether spicy, sweet, or salty. I also learned about various religious practices. One friend of mine was a Muslim and the other was Hindu, and they told me about how they practice their religion and what they believe in. What was so amazing was that although we were very different in many ways, we still had the same aspirations and interests, developing remarkable relationships. There was so much more I learned, but ultimately with this experience, I started to share about the many things I discovered and encourage people to learn about different cultures. The world is filled with so many different and wonderful people from various heritages and ethnicities, so why not learn more about each other? In truth, we do not have to be disparate at all. We can learn from each other and connect through a beautiful relationship. This can only happen if you plant the seed in our communities, no matter how tiny. All big dreams start out small, and once they grow, they become reality.
So obviously, talented students. The first place winning artist will be sent off to Washington, D.C. She'll compete internationally with all students from international Sister Cities programs from all over the world. We've had first place winners in the past, and she didn't get it last year, but we're crossing our fingers that maybe this year she will place. Also, that all the artwork of the other 19 students is at the library at the Gaston County main branch until the end of April. So if you do want to go down there and view that, we'd strongly encourage that. It's some amazing pieces that, from a little theme, Think Globally, Thrive Locally, you'd wonder how many different pieces could come from that, and it's just a true talent. So please go take a look at our talented youth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Okay. Council, I think this was mentioned last year, but one of the teachers, Hope Harris, we brought up is the daughter of the late Ed Anthony, who served many years on the city council. She's gifted too, so as they are. Thank you very much. The last presentation is Mrs. Kim Elmore and Ms. Stephanie Withers, Cancer Services of Gaston County, with a report on the April 4th Faces of Hope event. Ladies.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council, for inviting us here tonight to speak briefly. 1 in 3 people will get cancer in their lifetime. Cancer is the second leading cause of death here in Gaston County. But the good news is that more and more people are surviving cancer. Cancer Services of Gaston County is the local 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are grassroots and totally local. We help Gaston County residents living with cancer and the Gaston community with prevention and early detection of cancer programs. Cancer Services provides medication assistance, liquid nutrition, wigs, bras, prostheses, transportation, things that people can't afford and they need. Last year, we provided 4,936 of these services to 483 people living with cancer, and we provided cancer prevention and early detection programs to 14,684 individuals in this community. 100% of every dollar donated stays here locally. I would like to introduce to you now Kim Elmore, our Community Outreach Director, to talk to you about our Faces of Hope event that helped us raise those dollars on April 4th. Kim.
Good evening. Like Stephanie said, on April 4th at Daniel Stowe Botanical Garden, we had our largest fundraiser. Net proceeds were close to $60,000. The event is just a great event. We reach a lot of people with a $50 ticket. It includes your food and your drinks for the evening, so you're set, and the food is absolutely delicious because we have local restaurants who donate food for us. They're there serving, and we had restaurants like Olive Garden, Lotus, Sakura, On the Border, how am I leaving? the Round Bistro, and Chick-fil-A in Belmont, to name a few. And the food was great, and plenty to drink as well. So you're set for the evening for $50. We also had a silent auction, which Mr. Kimball and his lovely wife Lori were on our committee and worked tirelessly to help us raise stuff for our silent auction, and that was a huge success this year. We also had a raffle, so you have a chance to win $250 cash, or you can win a 42-inch TV, or also an iPad. And then we also had something called a champagne game, where we sold tickets, $50 for a ticket, and then we only sold 50 of them, and it gave you a chance to win a pair of $1,300 earrings that Facet Foundry had donated for us, and that was a big success as well. We had over, I'd say, close to 350 people at the event, and people were packed in there. But the highlight of the evening is thus the name Faces of Hope. We always unveil a face or faces of hope, and this year we had one face of hope. Her name was Kim Beverly, and you may know her from The Woman in Pink, but she presented her story. Basically, the organization chooses someone based on who we think is an inspiration in the community, and they're kind enough and gracious enough to share their story of hope and inspiration, because it used to be when you were diagnosed with cancer, it was pretty much a death sentence. But like Stephanie said, more and more people are living with cancer, and thus it increases the need for cancer services. And so this event, the money that we raise has just, it keeps growing every year, and with the support of Mr. Kimball and his wife and everybody else in the community, it was just a great evening. Molly Grantham was there from WBTV as our MC for part of the evening. She's just phenomenal. She just steps right in there. But if you're not familiar with it, next year we'll have Faces of Hope, and we would love to have you come and be a part of it and see what Cancer Services does and just enjoy a nice evening. So with that, thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Kimball.
Any comments or questions of anyone? Thank you very much, both, again, and for all that you do.
Thank you.
And we keep hoping that there'll be complete cure one day. We all do, and it might be soon.
Great.
Thank
Our
you.
fingers crossed.
Right? Keep your fingers crossed. That's right. Thank you. Next is the public expression. Each person is limited to a total of 5 minutes speaking time, and of course this is over and beyond the public hearing on the regular agenda that's coming up. Bill Starr, in my favorite uniform coming, 1606 Heatherlight Drive, Toys for Tots. Always good to see you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, City Councilman. My name is Bill Starr. I'm the United States Marine Corps Toys for Tots representative for Gaston County. And I will use my 5 minutes to present a short report on our accomplishments in the 2013 Toys for Tots campaign, and to recognize some of the agencies within the city and an individual who went above and beyond in assisting us. The mission of the United States Marine Corps Toys for Tots Reserve program is to provide hope to each child at Christmas by providing them a toy. We've been doing that since 1947. In 2013, in Gaston County, over 5,000 children were recipients of over 15,000 toys. That is an increase of 56% more children than 2012, and that is due by donations and hard work. This year, we have the ability to reach into all pockets of the community of Gaston County. Over 70% of these 5,000 children are Gastonia residents. So the majority of the recipients were right here in our city. This evening I have certificates of Commander's Award, and I'd like to read those. It's the Commander's Award. The United States Marine Corps Reserve is proud to recognize the Gastonia Police Department, the Gastonia Fire Department, Gastonia City Hall, the Gastonia Conference Center, Councilman Jim Gallagher, for outstanding support of the 2013 Gaston County Marine Toys for Tots program. Your generous contributions have enabled the Marine Corps to bring the joy of Christmas and send a message of hope to America's less fortunate children. Signed, Richard P. Mills, Lieutenant General, United States Marine Corps, Commander, Marine Corps Reserve. As we look forward to 2014, I believe we will have a bigger and better year. But as we grow, we need more volunteers, we need more organizations, we need more toys, which is a good problem to have. So, Mayor, City Councilman, to those groups, I have certificates for you. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you very much. We salute you, and we salute all that you do, and everyone else that works with you. This is a wonderful thing. I want you to do it forever. So, keep the toys coming in. So.
As long as I can wear my uniform, I probably will.
Exactly right. Any comments or questions? Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Sir Ray, come anytime. Okay. The party, pretty bad, get old as I am. I can only read the post office box. Can you read that? P.O. Box 550312. Okay, but you're up close. Did you just come right ahead and introduce yourself, if you will?
I didn't think I was going to be first.
You thought what?
I didn't think I was going to be first.
Oh, you're second.
No.
No, ma'am. If it's no, it's in the regular agenda, which is coming up. We might put you first, but no, we've got the staff first. John Roberts, Bessemer City. John, and yours is that different program. Okay.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I have some notes, but I've just had an eye procedure and I can't read them, so they're not much use. So please bear with me. My name is John Roberts. I live in Bessemer City. I attend Gaston College in the Human Services program. I'm a guardian ad litem volunteer, and I'm currently doing an internship with the Guardian Office, running triage to identify children's needs, so that the judge knows which services to order when the case comes before him. I just want to bring to people's attention that we have in excess of 200 children currently under the auspices of the Guardian Office. We have only 58 volunteers, and we have almost 60 children who do not have a guardian assigned. Mr. Munn has very kindly offered to allow me to put these requests for volunteers in City Hall. And I'd like to request the city please consider, I know that you allow city workers to mentor children and do the literacy program. I wonder if you might consider including service to the Guardian Office under that auspices. These children are all victims. They're in no way responsible for the situation they find themselves in. And if we don't take care of them now, we'll certainly be taking care of them later. So I would ask, please, that if you can do anything to raise the awareness of the need for volunteers, even maybe an ad on a bus, it would be greatly appreciated by the children in particular. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. John, go ahead.
Sorry. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to leave these with the lady taking the minutes. There are phone numbers in there. I don't know if you post any information on the site. Telephone numbers are there. Or they can just contact the Guardian Ad Litem office here in the courthouse. The office is just down this hall. We're all volunteers. People who volunteer will have a thorough background check. They'll be checked against the sex offenders registry for the safety and well-being of the children. They'll receive a thorough training. And for anybody who has the time or the ability, or even a business where we might display requests for volunteers, We really need the help. We have over 200 children currently in the system, either dependent, neglected, or abused. And each one of them is entitled under North Carolina law to a guardian volunteer. We have in excess of almost 60 children right now who do not have guardians assigned to them, and they fall under the auspices of Mr. Ed Bogle, who is the Family Services Attorney, and Mr. Kevin Proctor, who supervises the GAL office. We need help, and anything you people could do to reinforce that would be greatly appreciated. And since this is Child Abuse Awareness Month, I thought this would be an appropriate time to make the request. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for what you do. Thank you, sir. Okay, that's the public expression. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?